The class speech. The class elected its student, Medina Turner.
Never give up. That phrase has inspired me to achieve many things in my life from a very early age, even at the toughest moments where it appears like there's no hope. I always hear my inner voice claim, "You can do it, Medina." Growing up in New York City gave me a special perspective, passion, and strength. Just to attend high school, I took one bus and 2 trains to get from Queens to Manhattan. If there are any New Yorkers in the audience, they can explain that such a trip was a long haul, especially when you do it 5 days a week, starting at 5 a.m. during winter, fall, and spring for 4 straight years. My parents helped me build a foundation of responsibility to make it through those early years and for the future ahead. While growing up in New York City, my parents made sure we were always involved in some form of cultural event, the theater, museums, and musicals. Now just imagine what a sight we were, 12 brothers and sisters, of whom I'm lucky number 7. Out of my 6 girly sisters, I was always considered the tomboy. When I was a freshman in high school, I discovered my passion for basketball. The first challenge I faced was time management. The 2.5-hour trip to school would end at 7:30 and 8 p.m. When I would get out of basketball practice, I was excited, but my mother was worrying and warning me that I would have to quit the team if my grades suffered. Soon enough, Mom was right, and it became overwhelming. Balancing school and participation in my basketball team, I felt devastated, but I was able to attend summer school and rise from my fall. The next year, I improved tremendously on and off the court. Success came while I was a junior and senior, moving up the ranks from All-City, All-State, to All-American. I must say, not too shabby for a young girl starting out in her freshman year. Things were looking up, and I was on top of the world. After high school is when my basketball dreams flourished. I played at Clarendon College in Clarendon, Texas. Then I transferred to be near family in Hansville, Alabama, and earned my AA degree from Wallace State Community College. I wanted to play basketball in the SEC, which is the Southeastern Conference, which was the powerhouse of women's basketball in the 90s. The top prestige came when I earned a basketball scholarship to the University of Georgia in Athens. Playing in the SEC was serious. Practices was 2 to 3 times per day with the grueling 4.5-hour per day workout schedule. I played professionally overseas for 5.5 years in Spain, Portugal, Finland, France, and Belgium. It was inspiring because I was exposed to different cultures while learning different languages. I had devoted myself to playing basketball and not finishing my degree. I was only a year away from my bachelor's degree. The physical demands while on tour were no match to the emotional turmoil I would soon face. It was 1993 when I began touring Europe. In the same year, my sister Renee was diagnosed with breast cancer. She was a police officer in Brooklyn, New York. At the beginning of her diagnosis, she came to Spain to watch me play for 3 months. Before long, she moved to Tampa, Florida in 1997. I visited Renee in 1998. When I witnessed the pain she was going through, my focus went from basketball to chemotherapy sessions, counseling sessions, and providing anything Renee needed. I moved to Florida in 1999 to be near her side when her breast cancer hit aggressively. She was such a strong woman that even her cancer came back, she would try to work out and keep in shape. She even tried playing basketball with me. She did it to help me shape up and stay in basketball condition. The reality of her cancer truly hit home when she was admitted to hospice. I was there through every step of the way, including that awful day she took her last breath, May 16, 2001. Several things stayed with me. Renee's unbelievable desire to live life to the fullest and her willingness to help anyone she could, even when she was ill. She had the kindest and most genuine heart I've ever seen. I thank God always had Renee in my life. She taught me to never give up. While my sister was sick, I began working as a caregiver on the side. I realized my new calling was working with people, especially those with disabilities. I dedicated the next few years to working in this field, and I loved it. While working, I gained life experiences beyond my imagination. I even started the process of becoming a foster parent. 2003 marked yet another turning point I wasn't expecting. My father passed away in Las Vegas, Nevada, because there was no one else willing to help. It was up to me to care for my brother Robert, 11, and sister Tiffany, 12, my father's children outside of marriage. It was stressful enough handling my father's death and now trying to find out what to do with two teenagers. I heard a small voice tell me, "Never give up, Medina." The trip back to Florida, Tampa, Florida, included two teenagers. I was entering motherhood. I love this quote by Ronald Reagan. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. When I brought my brother and sister back to Tampa, I had no idea what I was in for. Regardless, I never gave up. Motherhood is a different process when you take children into your care that you know little about. These two teens came to me with no structure and no training. I put them in different kinds of programs in the Tampa Bay area, hoping to instill a positive influence, but nothing seemed to work. When my sister Tiffany turned 18, she was on her own and soon had 3 children of her own. That's when things got very busy for me. The state took them away from her. We sat down to make some life-altering decisions. The youngest child, Shane, was adopted overseas and now lives in Holland. Her other 2 children, Jacob Joe Raymond and John Henry, were adopted by me. I took my nephews. In as my 2 sons because family is important to me. Being their mother brings me an unexplainable joy. I have always helped raise children being from a large family. You get used to helping brothers and sisters, caring for cousins, nephews, and nieces. Now I have 2 sons whom I dedicate my entire being to, whom I hope will become great men with a bright future, and whom I will always love unconditionally. The first time I heard about Metropolitan Ministries was when I was working transporting disabled clients who worked in the cafeteria. That's when I learned of all the good work that they do in Metropolitan Ministries. I was impressed by the services. It was not only a safe place to reflect and to regroup, but also a place to find hope. The only condition was to be willing to follow the rules and do what is asked of you. Last October, I found myself going through hard times. My landlord took our rent money and didn't pay the real property owners, so I was being evicted 3 days after Thanksgiving. That's when I remembered Metropolitan Ministries. I made an application for the Uplift U program, self-sufficiency program, and within a few months, a month and a half, was offered a place. My heart sunk deep in my belly, and excitement was too much to bear. I said, "The Lord is great and truly does work in mysterious ways." We were given a safe place to stay, food to eat. The RSAs provided us with everything we needed, and always with a smile. Everyone was and is very friendly and genuine. One of the most inspiring experiences so far is my relationship with my case manager, Ms. Patty Ramp. She has a wealth of knowledge on programs, services, and is always available to give me guidance. She is my own personal cheerleader. She will send sometimes just a simple text saying, "Have a great day." It's the small things that she does that have a great impact on me. She inspired me to return to school because she went back too at a later age, and it encouraged me to follow her advice, just like I should have listened to my coaches and teachers. I'm now very proud to announce that I will be pursuing my bachelor's degree next term at the University of South Florida. I am so thankful and grateful for Metropolitan Ministries. John F. Kennedy said it best. As we expressed our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Never give up is a simple phrase, but often a hard one to follow. I've been through hard times, such as my sister's death, my father's passing, the adoption of my boys, and finding myself homeless. But I have always persevered, because to give up is to not even try. Nothing is impossible, and it took me going through this journey to understand that it's all part of God's plan. I put myself in His hands, because through it all, I'm still alive, healthy, and strong. I found that all these bad experiences are actually bricks. They are the bricks I use to build my future, my foundation. Metropolitan Ministries has become the glue that puts all the pieces of my life back in place. I'm happy today because after suffering all these years, enduring everything by myself, I finally had support. I finally found help. The next brick will come after I leave Metropolitan Ministries. The only difference now is that I will be better equipped to handle life stresses. Keep in mind that it doesn't matter if you have gone through trauma, addiction, abuse, perhaps job loss. Whatever brought you to Metropolitan Ministries is up to you, to us all, to never give up. Remember, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Helen Keller.